Hi, and welcome to this video. My name is Brooke Cormier, and I've been a full-time artist for the past 9 years, and I've been building my YouTube career for the past 3. But if you don't give a single care who I am and just want the cold, hard numbers, I won't beat around the bush. Here is how much I've made on YouTube as an artist since getting monetized in 2023. And just so you know, all the numbers in this video are in Canadian dollars since I'm a Canadian gal. So, if you got what you came for, then thanks for stopping by. But if you want to get into it a little bit more, then I will share some more context and also some more breakdowns and some advice. First of all, the reason why I decided to make this video is because there might be some artists out there who are debating on whether or not they should start a YouTube channel, and maybe they're curious to see if it's actually a viable income stream or if it's worth their time. I know that personally, when I was making this decision, I found it really helpful when artists would talk openly about how much they were making on this platform, and I really appreciated that transparency. I think that money is a bit of a taboo subject still in general. I know that I was like raised never to ask somebody how much they were making from their job and stuff, and I think that especially with artists and us kind of constantly battling this starving artist stereotype, money can be a bit of an uncomfortable subject. And honestly, for me, talking about this, it's still a little bit uncomfortable because I know that I'm going to share some of these numbers and some people are going to be like, whoa, that's so much. And then some people are going to be like, really? And so I think that these kind of reactions just like make me a little nervous. But regardless, I still think it's important to share, especially since this is a relatively new way for artists to make money over the course of history. And so I think that transparency is valuable, especially if you're really toying with the idea of starting your own channel, or maybe you just want to know out of curiosity so you can compare with your own. So with that being said, I will now give you some context on my own personal YouTube journey. I posted my first video on YouTube on May 17th, 2017. And it's honestly embarrassing that I still have these up here. A little bit cringe, but what can I say? You gotta start somewhere. And I didn't really take the channel seriously back then. I was posting here and there, but also kind of irregularly. And I made the decision to just really lean into Instagram, and I kind of went on a YouTube hiatus until May of 2022, when I decided, actually, I do want to get into YouTube again. And so I started taking my YouTube channel seriously then, and I will henceforth refer to that as the revamp of my channel. My channel was monetized on February 23rd of 2023, and this was 8 videos after the revamp. And if you don't know what being monetized means, basically YouTube has some requirements for you to fulfill, like having at least 1,000 subscribers, having at least 4,000 public watch hours within a 12-month period, and then you are eligible to join the YouTube partnership program, which basically means that they can run ads on your YouTube videos and you get paid through these ads based on how much views you get. My other mic died, so now I have to clip this annoying thing to my shirt. I hope this is okay. Life of a YouTuber, am I right? So since my YouTube revamp, I posted kind of sporadically for 2 years, and then I only just started an actual rhythm of posting every other week at the beginning of this year in 2025. I also want to say that at the time of revamping my channel, I already had, I think, around 200,000 Instagram followers. And though I was not completely successful in converting all of those into YouTube subscribers, I think that it certainly helped not starting completely from scratch on social media. So there are 2 ways that I'm making money off of YouTube. One is through YouTube Adsense and the other is through YouTube sponsorships. So let's dive a little bit into YouTube Adsense. And this is the money that I'm earning off of YouTube putting ads on my videos. In total, I have made $11,450.73 since I have been monetized, and $686 of those dollars is from YouTube Premium subscribers, and $48 of those dollars is from people who have sent me super thanks. Thank you so much. With YouTube AdSense, there is a $100 threshold that you have to meet per month in order to get a payout, and if you don't reach it, then the money rolls over until the next month until you reach that threshold and then you get paid. So my first payout was in May of 2023, which was 3 months after being monetized. And since being monetized, my highest paying month was $735.55, and my lowest paying month was $3.38. Over the course of the 29 months that I have been monetized, this averages out to about $395 per month. But in more recent history, since I started uploading every other week, it actually is more like $500 per month on average. Also, what's important to note is that on YouTube, there's certain types of channels that get paid more through AdSense, and art is not one of them. So advertisers are willing to pay more to show ads to an audience of finance or business or technology, and so these channels have a higher CPM, which is basically the cost per 1,000 views, than say a little art channel like mine. Additionally, when your channel is monetized, you can choose whether you want pre and post roll ads as well as mid-roll ads, and I have made the decision not to put mid-roll ads in my videos because I just personally find them very annoying and I think it really disrupts the viewer experience. So I know that I'm losing some money that way, but that has just been a personal decision. You're welcome. Though who knows, I might turn them on in the future if I'm short on cash. Also, as a creator, I do not have the choice whether or not YouTube shows skippable or non-skippable ads. YouTube makes this decision when they deem it is appropriate. So moving on to sponsorships, and this is where I have made the most amount of money in my YouTube career thus far. In total, up until this very day, I have made $34,881.40. Now, I will not be discussing anything about the brands that I've worked with and like how much they've paid me and stuff, because that is a breach of confidence. But I will still give you some context regardless. So I got my first sponsorship in September of 2023, and this was 11 videos in a year and a half after my revamp. Up until this point in time, I have 13 sponsored videos out of the 43 videos that I have made in total since the revamp. At this point, on average, I'm making around $2,000 to $3,000 per sponsored video, but it also depends on the brand and what the deliverables are. So for example, like if there's a brand whose products I really like, but they don't have a huge budget, then we find some common ground. I get approached by brands pretty frequently, so I could actually do more sponsorships, but obviously I don't want to partner with brands who don't really align with me and my content and values. I have morals, okay? Also, as of earlier this year, I now have a partnerships manager who I share 15% of the profit with, which I gladly do, as I do not wish to do any negotiating and write any more emails than absolutely necessary. So as I was crunching these numbers for you, I kind of became a little curious cat, and I wondered if I really broke it down, how much money am I making like per hour as a YouTuber? So let me break it down for you. I need my calculator.
A few moments later.
AKA my phone. So I spend anywhere from 15 to 50 hours on any given YouTube video, and obviously that just depends on the subject of the video and like how fancy I'm getting with the editing. But for context, I do everything myself, so coming up with the concept, writing the script, doing the filming, the editing, like not to mention the art that I'm making also. So thus far, I have made in total $46,332.13. Since monetization, I have made 43 videos. So that comes out to $1,777.49 per video. And if, on average, I am spending 30 hours per video, that comes out to $35.91 per hour. And again, you may look at this number and think, whoa! Or you may look at this number and think, in which case, congratulations, you're rich. But honestly, for me, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I should also mention that YouTube is not my only revenue stream. I also make money off of art and commissions and my digital studio Notion template, which you should totally check out because it is literally my lifeline when it comes to organizing my YouTube videos and my entire art business. And I also make a little bit of money off of affiliate commissions as well. So now for some thoughts and some advice. If you are looking for it, take it or leave it. It has taken me a really long time to get to this point on YouTube where I am making okay money. And I've also had to learn so many new skills for this endeavor. And I will not sugarcoat it, it has severely impeded on my art making. I feel like I'm spending so much time now dedicated to growing my YouTube channel that it's hard to find the time to actually paint, which really sucks. But I told myself I wasn't gonna half-ass this YouTube thing anymore. I either needed to do it or quit. And so at the beginning of this year, I decided that I'm gonna just do a 2-year push where I really dedicate myself to my YouTube channel and see what comes of it. And I am now 1/4 of the way through, so please subscribe. I think that if you find success quickly on YouTube, you're an anomaly. For the majority of us, it's more of a slow burn. At least that's what it's been in my experience. But I know that the time and the energy and effort that I'm putting into the channel now will eventually pay off financially if I'm consistent. And I'm already starting to slowly see that more and more. Fulfillment-wise, my time and effort is already being paid off because every time I read a comment that says that I've made some kind of like positive impact in any way, shape, or form, I feel so rewarded. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing this in the first place. And also through this channel, I've discovered a love of filmmaking. What a surprise. And I think those 2 reasons are enough for me to stay on YouTube and keep running in this rat race. And after my 2-year push, so that will be in January 2027, I will just do some reassessment of my life and career. And who knows, maybe I'll be making one of those very dramatic videos titled "I quit," and it'll be like a thumbnail of me like looking all pensive or really sad. Anyways, if you're an artist who is debating on starting a YouTube channel, here is my honest advice. Don't do it if you don't like making videos. I think in order for this to be a successful and sustainable endeavor, you really need to enjoy the process. And if you don't, it's just gonna be soul-sucking and you're gonna hate it and you're gonna quickly realize that your precious time is better spent elsewhere. Over the years, I have learned that YouTube likes consistency and so does your audience. And after 6 months of posting every other week, I'm already seeing that difference. And I think that if your goal on YouTube is to make money off of it, you need to have some kind of like consistent posting schedule. And if time management is an issue for you, you should buy my Notion template. Generally speaking, creating videos takes a certain combination of skills, and if you don't already have those skills, like me when I started, you really have to invest the time to learn them. And I know that there are plenty of videos out there telling you that you can start your own YouTube channel with only an iPhone. And you know what? That's completely accurate. You can do that. But I also think that investing in equipment that is gonna make your workflow smoother and also look better, I mean, after all, we are aesthetic beings as artists, I think that it's really worth it. It's worth the investment. When I revamped my channel 3 years ago, I spent over $5,000 on new video equipment, which by the way, I bought mostly secondhand. And if you're interested, I always leave all of my video and filming equipment in the description of every video. But I was very fortunate to be able to afford to do this. I was fortunate to be able to afford the equipment. I was fortunate that I had savings put away and a partner to help pay the bills. So then when I started taking my channel more seriously and really dedicating time to it and not really seeing a return on that investment at that point in time, I wasn't under like a ton of financial stress. Like I could deal with it. I knew that, okay, I'm not gonna be making as much money for this amount of time, but it's okay, I'm not gonna starve. And I think that that's something realistically that you have to take into consideration when you want to really dedicate yourself to something like a YouTube channel. And I don't mean to say that if you're dirt poor, you'll never make it on YouTube, because I don't believe that. I think if you really, really, really want it, then you can make it work. But I also want to be transparent and acknowledge the fact that having savings and not so much financial stress certainly gave me an upper hand. I think it's also worth saying that it takes a certain personality type to have a YouTube channel like mine. I'm pretty outgoing, and even though I feel like I'm still getting used to talking to the camera a little bit, I am okay with putting my face and my thoughts out on the internet. I'm not ashamed to admit that at times I would even consider myself a bit of an entertainer. It's just a part of my personality, and I think that shows in the type of content that I make. But I know that not everybody is like this. Some of you watching right now are probably absolutely cringing at the thought of pointing a camera at your face and hitting record, which I totally get. It's not for everybody. And yes, there is merit to putting yourself in uncomfortable situations for the sake of growth, but diva, do not torture yourself. If you're an introvert who hates being on camera but is still considering starting a YouTube channel, you're just gonna have to get creative with it. Maybe it's just some voiceover action with some painting footage, or like a completely silent studio vlog. I don't know. You just have to figure out what feels natural to you, what is sustainable, and yeah, be patient. So some closing thoughts. In my personal experience, I do think that YouTube has been the most rewarding platform out of all the other social medias. I really feel like I'm creating this kind of like cozy little corner of the internet for my creative friends to come and have a cup of tea. And you know what? That makes me happy. I also think that there is a lot of potential for financial success on YouTube for artists, and that is what I am personally striving for as well, by improving my videos little by little. I am simply choosing to believe that all of the effort that I'm putting in now will really pay off in the future, because it is a marathon, not a sprint, even though sometimes it feels like a sprinting marathon. Anyway, perhaps you're watching this video just out of curiosity, or you're debating on starting your own YouTube channel. But either way, I hope that you found this video helpful in one way or another. As I have already pleaded, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and supported me through this 2-year push that I'm on. And if you don't want to subscribe, okay, thank you for watching anyways. You can check out my website at brookecormier.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at brookecormier. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Brooke Cormier, and I'll see you next time.